Hello, we're Assemble, and today we are talking a 1950s movie starring Jim Stewart. It deals with mental health in a comedic way, shall we say. We are talking Harvey. And Harvey, of course, is the imaginary 6'3" bunny rabbit. So we'll go around these guys. It's a small cast, but we'll go around these guys with our opening thoughts. Susan.
Hello.
Ow.
Well, I would like to introduce you to my two bird friends. This is a good movie. It's a fun old movie. It's kind of like a one of those old for you Brits, one of the old what's his name? Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness movies. That's
Yes.
right. Thank you. I just had a senior moment there for just a second. Anyway, there's a lot of senior moments in this. There's lots of drinking and lots of conversing about a certain rabbit, and there's a lot of very pleasant interplay, and there's a couple people who get together at the end of the movie who are sort of brought together by these strange occurrences, and there's a lot of rolling of baths and talking of doctors, and it all takes place at a place with where a Doctor Who fan would giggle, a Chumbly estate. So yeah, so it was an amusing movie, and James Stewart and the rest of the cast were quite adorable, actually. And so, yeah, that's my opening thoughts.
Thank you, Susan. Over to David.
Right. Okay. Well, you know, Harvey, I remember seeing this way back in the day, back in the 70s, I think the first time we died, and we just loved it, I mean, James Stewart, anything he's in is great, he's just got that warmth about him, and he can portray so many different emotions, but Harvey is a puta, which is like it's a sort of it's a fairy spirit that's quite mysterious, and I was thinking about it today, actually, in the park was Helen Craig, that it's like the model that Freud put together of the id, ego, and superego. Yeah, I've got it.
Let's listen to it.
Put it on. You want to talk a bit now?
I like.
Get it ready.
Who's the guy? Oh God, I've forgotten his name.
Which one? Sorry, Jim Stewart.
He was a very handsome doctor.
Oh yeah, he plays
He's
the
got
young.
a very unique voice.
Yeah, Dr. Sanderson, I think it is.
Is
Not Dr. Chumley.
I know him from one of my favourite 1980s horror films called Killer Clowns, where he plays the sheriff. And Officer Mooney he plays. And it was just nice to see him back in the day when he first started out.
Do you want me to play this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll just a couple of thoughts to put on my voice memo. Model of the mind, which is the ego, which is what we're in, and or the seat of government in the head, the superego, which is the higher self, and which we bounce ideas off, I guess, and of course the id, which is the monsters of the id, the Great Forbidden Planet movie, which is the actual reptilian brain or the old style brain, each incarnation of this reality Earth. We had a new part. Yes. Harvey is a 6.5 inch. Let's stick with the facts, Mr. Dowd said. He is Harvey's higher self. Dowd's higher self. Also, like it seems like it's the main issue at the moment, like sort of mental health. We have movies like Fight Club, where the character there sort of also creates a realistic version of his higher self. It's like bounce ideas up, and also possibly in one for the cuckoo's nest. Is the chief not sort of a calm version of Mr. McMurphy? We all have these cells create to bounce off ideas. It's like the only way to get through this life, or as Lennon would say, whatever gets you through the night, except it's coronation in essence in the beginning, is all right. And talking to yourself is not a bad thing, actually. It's actually resolve ideas verbally. And I guess that's what Harvey does. And because he's a 6'3.5", let's get the fact. Puka, which is an ancient spirit, a fairy spirit that is quite mischievous. He says to a friend, his father told him, be. There are two schools of thought, or two ways to be. One, you can be clever, or smart, or pleasant. I think that's what it is. It's a pleasant, beautiful insight into a man who was kind of given on the world because it's just crazy. And if you take an injection, you become another stinker just like everyone else. Watch the intersection. You know, watch that meter. Hey, what are you looking at, buddy? Yeah, cough it up. So I think I would also vote for pleasant. That's it.
Interesting thoughts.
And we're back in the
And we're back in the room. 3, 2, 1.
Harvey Nick.
I don't like dash your thing, Craig, but the actor who played the Doctor was Charles Drake, and he wasn't in Killer Clown.
He wasn't. He was. We looked it up and saw him.
Yeah, it's the other one then.
The Officer Mooney was John Vernon.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Oh, right. I was going to say, because Mooney's John Vernon.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to Google it and find out. I knew John Vernon was Mooney. And let's go back to Harvey. Really enjoyable movie. Based on a play, and you can see it was play to begin with, because the way they fit it could have just been filmed on the stage. You know, everybody's in the doorways, you know, up the stairs, like a fuss. But it's James Stewart what really steals the show for me. He plays this so calm. It doesn't, like you say, he's pleasant all the way through it. He doesn't lose his rank. He's just so calm all the way through it. The actress who plays sister in this, who locked up at the beginning of the movie, Josephine Hull, great name, Hull. She won an Oscar for this movie.
Oh.
She won the Oscar for supporting actress. She's head because comedy time's brilliant. Yeah, it's one of those movies. As Dave, you see this movie. It's on every year on TV at some point. Yeah. And for me, it's a ritual. I'll sit down and watch it. You know, like every Christmas, It's a Wonderful. I'll sit down and watch it. But yeah, I enjoyed rewatching this. So shall we go for moments and stuff? Go over to Susan.
All right, my favorite moments were the moments in, let me see, in which Harvey was being talked about circuitously because people were afraid to mention the fact that he was, you know, there was a fear base there, and that was fun because it's always funny when people are like back and forth about somebody that you know is in the room, but somebody that isn't talked about openly. Like the way some people talk about, you know, God and stuff. It's just fun. it can be really amusing, and those are really amusing moments, especially when it's his sister and niece, and especially when it's his the new, or the Dr. Chumley, because oh my gosh, when Dr. Chumley actually begins, communicating with Harvey and tries to talk circuitously about Harvey around other people. I mean, those are priceless moments, and those are really my most favorite moments. And the other thing that is great was all the special effects. Like, I mean, not there weren't huge special effects, but there were doors opening and closing, locked doors opening and closing, and sort of poltergeist activity, poltergeist, as they said in Young Ones.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I like those moments. And so, yeah, back over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan. Over to Craig and David for their moments.
Okay. Well, it's funny. Jim Morrison once said, when people are being serious, they're normally quite funny. And when they're being funny, they're quite serious. And I think this movie, everyone else is trying to sort of not see the elephant in the room, who is Harvey, and talking around it. And James Stewart, as Susan was saying, he's always, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, Harvey. He doesn't actually get it out. Like, everyone's playing around him. It's the same in like a movie called Being There with Peter Sellers, again, brilliant. And Drop Dead Fred, another sort of puka sort of activity-based movie. But it's just a warm movie, and it's got so many great little anecdotes in it. Like, the best, I think my favorite one is like, my father said to me, you can either be smart in this world, there's two trains of thought, be smart in this world, or you can be pleasant, and I'd advise. So, my favorite movie. What do you think, Chris?
I like the bit where the mother-in-law got the fireman's lift when the garden back into the mental hospital, and then maybe put into a hydro bath. That was fun.
When he said, "Come on, sister," he says, "You're picking some flowers today for me, honey?" She says, "Absolutely not. They're for my brother." He said, "Well, why don't you come inside and pick some flowers off the wallpaper, sister?" It's just so funny. Yeah. Back to you, Lee.
Thanking you. Yeah, I've Googled it, Craig. It wasn't him. Yeah, it's Chadwick's fan film was 1983. Killer Clowns was 1988.
Got a doppelganger.
So it's somebody else like him.
Accent.
He's got a doppelganger, yeah.
The puka.
I just like the warmth of this movie. As it's been said, it's a warm movie. It's all heart.
Yeah.
There's nothing gratuitous about it. Yes, it's all about mental health. Yeah, some of the treatment and where the patient is a bit dubious sometimes, but it's a comedy. And doesn't everybody want a pook?
Yeah.
I think everybody wants a pook at some point in their life. Someone who you can always talk to and trust, and talk your secrets. But for me, my favourite moments is when Dr. Chumley starts seeing Harvey himself, and he wants Harvey in his life.
Yes.
And and Harvey goes with him, but then right at the end he goes back to Elwood.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. But James Stewart, he's one of the greatest American actors ever been. Because he could put into anything: comedy, drama, westerns, thrillers. He did everything.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So, shall we? If anything else to say, shall we go final score?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Over to those two reprobates on the sofa.
Well, definitely give it a 10, because it's just, I can watch it over and over. Both Donny and Harvey get a 10.
I agree.
Cool, cool. I like it when hot and sweet like this. Yeah. Over to Susan.
Well, I just would like to let you know that rabbit must have been much taller than 6'3" and something, because James Stewart was about 6'3"
Yeah.
Because of the ears.
himself,
Yeah.
and he was looking up at the rabbit much like this.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to the painting. You know, I wonder what happened to that painting.
So I mean, like, that's not possible. So I mean, does
Very large rabbit droppings.
Yes.
is James Stewart's character, does he really know how tall this rabbit is? Does he really know anything about this rabbit?
8'7".
Because he seems to be getting it slightly, because he is taller than everyone else in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, James Stewart is like, yeah. So like, I mean,
Maybe Harry told him he was 6'3.5".
That's fine, but
Maybe
it's
he
just
was.
physics, man.
Yeah.
So if you can open a door, a locked door, and push your way through a gate and stuff, and you can show up in a painting, which is more about the dream than the actual painting, the photography and stuff. That was a beautiful line.
Oh yeah, that was a good line.
If you can do that, then how are you really to know how tall the rabbit is? Anyway, so I'll give it a 6'12" out of. I think he's more like 7 foot or 8 foot tall. But I won't give the rabbit that. I'll give it a 10 for the movie, and and just disagree with
Google, isn't it? James Stewart was 6'3".
Too right.
James Stewart was 6'3". Yeah.
So, like I was saying, the rabbit was taller.
Yeah.
Must have been 7 foot. Anyway, I'll give it a 10. Bye.
He died of rabies.
Brilliant.
He should have mixed in these
Yeah,
courses.
it's so enjoyable, this movie. It's a simple movie. It's family friendly as well. You know, you could show this to your kids, because all the kids' imaginary friends, stuff like when you're younger, they'd really love this sort of movie.
Did anyone actually?
So for me, I'm going to give it 10 business car out of 10.
Did you have an imaginary friend?
I'm just saying, guys. Anyone here had an imaginary friend? Oh, we scored the great 10. Did anyone actually have an imaginary friend?
I have got imaginary friends, because I haven't got any in real life.
Okay.
Of course, I had an imaginary friend.
They don't participate.
Yeah.
But that's
I have to have imaginary friends, because I haven't got any reals.
You should stop getting rid of them, and then they'll be your friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Anyways, we have been talking Harvey. I hope you've enjoyed the little cast. I'd like to thank Craig, David, and Susan for joining us. You guys out there, if you like this video, please leave a comment. If you'd like to be in videos, get in touch. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're all over the place, and we'll try and get you involved. On YouTube, subscribe, notify the bell notification. It'll ding every time we put a video up, so you keep it with our output, what we put out there. So until next time, let's put on a face. Be pleasant.
Yes.
Be pleasant in life to everybody.
And
Until
see
next
the
time.
changes you can make around people.
Bye-bye.